What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Doing Talisker 25-year-old. Alright, so this is from the Isle of Skye. It's an island off mainland Scotland, and it is owned by Diageo. I've done the 10-year-old, which was pretty phenomenal stuff in my opinion for a 10-year-old. This one's on the next level, all right? It reminds me a lot of the Highland Park 25-year-old with more brininess to it and a little bit more peat. So we're gonna get into it. But before we do that, I just wanna tell you that it's predominantly American oak casks and a small amount of refilled European oak casks. Usually, European oak casks hold or once held sherry. So that's kind of the understanding when we say European oak casks, but that's not always the case. So there could be European oak casks that hold any type of European wine. It could just be a plain European oak cask. We don't know for sure, but I'm gonna assume that it's probably sherry just because that's usually what it is. 25 years old. This one's bottled in 2017. It is bottle number 4,329 of 21,498. This is still a pretty reasonable price for a 25-year-old. Ontario prices always tend to be high, and it's still around the global norm at around 400 Canadian dollars. In Alberta, it's between 350. Sometimes you can find it for a bit lower than that, not much. And in the US, you're looking at around $300 to $400 US. So sometimes you can get lucky and get it for around the 280 mark, but that's hard to come by. I believe there's probably some added color in there considering the amount of American oak bourbon casks, but I could be wrong. There's not a lot of sherry casks in it, and the ones that are used are refilled. But it's 25 years old, so you never know. On the nose. Yeah, so like I said, it's got that briny note. You can tell there's some ocean influence in this one for sure. It says right on the bottle, made by the sea, and that holds true in the nose for sure. Caramel notes. A little bit like a saltwater taffy kind of smell, like a candied, salty, briny note. Something almost caramelized in there as well. Maybe like a caramelized or sugar-coated orange peel, but not as bitter. Definitely some orange notes in there. Get a little bit of like a hay-like smell, or wet hay anyway. It's a beautiful nose. Honestly, you can nose this one for a long time. There's like a subtle hint of like a dark chocolate coming from like an oak-like smell, and the vaguest hint of like a campfire, like you were near a fire, a couple days later you have like the smallest hint of that smell on your clothing. I recently heard that term and I thought that was perfect for this. I don't know who said it, I can't remember exactly. I want to say maybe that was Roy from Aquavite. But definitely, there's like the smallest hint of a peat smell here, but not much because it's 25 years old. The 10-year-old is a lot more peaty. Not that that's heavily peated by any means, but there's more peat. This is more on the brine side though. Okay, on the palate, because I don't think you want to hear me nose and give you notes on the nose all day long. immediate sweetness to it. That briny note is very welcoming. It's like I said, salted candy, like a saltwater taffy. Finishes toward like a salted caramel. Now, this is bottled at 45.8%. Very likely it's unchill filtered. I don't think it says it anywhere on the bottle, and I don't have the box. This was loaned to me by Jeremy from Toronto Whisky Society. I should have mentioned that earlier. We did a live review that you guys can check out in the archives recently. It was a lot of fun. We got to taste the Balvenie Ton 1401 batch 6, and then we also tasted this bad boy right here, the Balblair 1993 cast strength. Phenomenal stuff. Jeremy's bringing the goods these days because this Talisker is amazing as well. So much so that I'm actually probably going to go out and buy a bottle for myself. Yeah, definitely one of those whiskeys you can nose and taste for a very long period of time. A lot of sweetness. It's not your typical 25-year-old in the sense that I find a lot of 25-year-olds take, well, this is over halfway down the bottle, so I'm not sure what it was like at the top. And it may have been, it's a typical 25-year-old at the top of the bottle, but below the halfway point, it is in the money spot in my opinion. Sweet, no burn whatsoever, not a drop of water needed. 45.8%, and it drinks like it would technically drink like it's 40% in smoothness, but because of the viscosity, you can tell that it's unchill filtered. You can tell that it's a little bit higher in ABV. Just a really nice, well-rounded dram. This is an A+ for sure. There's no doubt in my mind that that's an A+. Really nice stuff. For around $400 Canadian, I'm definitely gonna pick up a bottle. I think it's well worth it. The good news about this one is you don't have to run out and go grab it because it's not gonna be available for very long. You're always gonna be able to find the 25-year-old Talisker until the day they announce that it's not gonna be made anymore, which hopefully won't be for a long time. I've always wanted to try the 18-year-old. It's nowhere in Canada. It probably is in a few locations in the US, but for me it's really hard to come by, and I'm really happy to be able to try this one because it's excellent stuff. All right, guys, if you haven't already, add me as a friend on Facebook. You can add me on Twitter, Instagram, join us on Snups, and you can also become a Patreon to help support the channel over here, help put awesome bottles on this table. I appreciate the support so far. You guys have been amazing, whether it's just commenting, clicking the like button, all those different things, they all help. So I really appreciate it, guys. Cheers.